What's up, everybody? So this is a video by Myth West, how the Lord of the Rings was nearly destroyed in development. Now, I haven't seen this video, so let's check it out. It's one of my favorite, if not favorite, all-time series and movies. So let's see how it almost did not come to be. Classic scene.
The Lord of the Rings movie adaptations have continued to captivate millions of fans all over the world ever since their release. But unbeknownst to most fans, these beloved films were almost corrupted and marred beyond recognition before they ever had a chance to shine and change the movie landscape forever. Much of this wild tale comes from the book Anything You Can Imagine,
Peter Jackson
and the Making of Middle-earth by film writer Ian Nathan. Peter Jackson had just come off his first Oscar-nominated film, Heavenly Creatures, nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
I didn't even know he made other movies.
He'd signed a first-look deal with Miramax, and by Miramax, I mean Harvey Weinstein. As the head of Miramax, the full extent of his criminal behavior was not yet known publicly, but his reputation as a bully and strongman was well established. Peter Jackson and partner Fran Walsh wanted to do something big and adventurous, something fantasy, but each idea that they had kept on coming back to Lord of the Rings. They thought surely the rights to such an iconic story had to be impossible to get. But when they notified Harvey, he told them they were owned by the Saul Zaentz Company, and it turns out Saul owes him a big favor. While Harvey attempted to get the rights to Tolkien's trilogy, which was...
You're telling me the only reason why we got Lord of the Rings movies is because Harvey Weinstein had some dirt on these people that own the rights? So we had videos of them doing the dirty? Or doing some nasty... That's how we got Lord of the Rings? What? I mean, do I give a shout out to Harvey for this one? I mean, damn.
It was taking a while. Peter and Fran had to find something else to do. So they shopped ideas around, even landing an offer from Fox for Peter to direct a Planet of the Apes movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger would star and James Cameron would be a producer.
What?
But after rejecting that offer and a failed attempt at getting King Kong greenlit with Universal, Harvey informed them that he had finally scored them the rights to Lord of the Rings. Meetings began and Jackson would fly up to New York regularly to hash out Middle-earth. Things started to get interesting right away in their meetings in Miramax's unventilated office room known as the Sweatbox. Harvey was insistent on a $75 million budget, and hoping against hope it could be pulled off, Jackson agreed, although he was hoping for 2 movies, but Harvey had one in mind. It was clear right away that most of the executives didn't understand Lord of the Rings. Bob Weinstein had never read it, but insisted that one of the hobbits had to be killed off.
What?
In retrospect, Jackson asserted that the Weinstein brothers had a strange good cop, bad cop routine to convince him that Bob was the raving lunatic and that he could trust Harvey. Unfortunately, the budget eventually started to inflate beyond expectations as development progressed. Harvey then ordered Peter to his office for a meeting, just him and Peter. He fumed about how his money for development had been wasted, and then delivered an ultimatum. Make one movie, 2 hours long, or you're off the project. Jackson was also given a list of recommendations from Miramax executives.
We need 3 movies, 3.5 hours long each. That's what we need. And even then, they're not even long enough.
Best ways to cut down the story to size. Just some of these included cutting most of the Moria scenes, including Balin's tomb and the Orc attack, as well as the Balrog, combining Rohan and Gondor into one kingdom, which also meant combining Denethor and Theoden into one character.
What?
Cutting out exactly
that don't even make sense.
Of Helm's Deep. Harvey then delivered the final hammer blow to Jackson's manager. If Peter Jackson won't make it in one movie, I'll have Quentin Tarantino do it. That's right, Quentin Tarantino.
Bingo! That's not his kind of movie, bro. That's not his style. What the? That's not his style.
Jackson flatly refused. There was no way he could.
Shout out to Peter for holding his ground, bro. So Harvey Weinstein, you're an a-hole.
Was such a butchered and diluted adaptation. Jackson and Walsh, along with writer Philippa Boyens, had to return home. They had been defeated, the Fellowship had failed, and Lord of the Rings was about to be seized and its power wielded for evil, so to speak.
So who comes through?
But as all hope was fading, in stepped the unlikeliest of heroes. Jackson's manager, Ken Commons, decided to lob a last desperate attempt.
Ken Commons.
He contacted Weinstein and laid out his case. He explained that Peter and his team should be allowed to shop this around to other studios before being cut off of a project they had already spent years working on. Weinstein agreed, but allowed them just 4 weeks to relocate the project. Most projects take 6 months to a year or more to land at another studio. Peter Jackson and the team then decided to make something unique for the pitch. They threw together a sort of half-hour documentary showcasing a few scenes they shot from the script.
That is awesome.
As well as a look at the production of armor and weapons, the building of sets, and more.
I love seeing this kind of stuff.
Armed with
really
this, the team flew to
sick.
Los Angeles to court studios at a furious pace. Except nobody was interested. After
How
a
was
failed
nobody
pitch to
interested in this movie? It's Lord of the Rings. I bet a lot of you, or all those people are like, damn, we effed up. We should have just did the damn movies and made $1 billion.
Studio, they just had one more meeting before they had to fly back to New Zealand, and it was with New Line Cinema.
Hey, shout out to New Line
Jackson and
Cinema.
company
Been cracking off dope movies for us 90s kids forever. New Line Cinema been doing it. Everybody knows that classic intro of a New Line Cinema.
Presented their sizzle reel documentary Hybrid, and after the half-hour presentation and the lights went up, New Line president Bob Shea said nothing. Shea finally broke the deafening silence by saying something to the effect of, "Why would anyone want moviegoers to pay $18 when they might pay $27? Or in essence, why sell 2 tickets when we could sell 3? We'll take the project, go make 3 movies."
Yes!
Peter couldn't believe his ears, but he
Shout
didn't
out
need to be
OG
told
from New
twice.
Line, bro.
Jackson and the team flew into production with abandon.
Because he saw the money, the feria that was going to come
Lord of the
in.
Rings was alive once again. This wasn't the end of Peter Jackson's troubles, however. The studio, along with Jackson, would face huge pressure as they practically put everything on the line for these expensive films. Much of Hollywood thought New Line was out of their minds and would destroy themselves with such a foolhardy venture.
Forget y'all. New Line's where it's at.
Rumors of a crumbling Lord
And
of
they made Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze.
the Rings project were unjustly spread around Hollywood as fans waited for the movies. As far as any Hollywood bigwig was concerned, New Line might have just sunk their company on a practically unfilmable gargantuan story being made by an inexperienced director on an island somewhere near Australia. The studio began to panic. This was not the kind of press they wanted for the biggest movie project of all time, based on one of the greatest stories ever written. That panic led New Line president Bob Shea to hatch a high-stakes plan. A plan that, if it failed, could possibly sink not only the first movie, but the possibility of the trilogy even getting completed. The plan centered on the Cannes Film Festival. If you want to make the biggest impression, you have to go to the biggest film festival in the world. New Line wanted to turn the negative press around, and they wanted to do it with a screening of nearly half an hour of completed Lord of the Rings footage for a bunch of members of the press.
So you're telling me a bunch of people that get paid to talk crap were talking crap about what was going on, and they almost stopped production for hating the press? Forget the press. The press are scum.
Following the screening, the press members would be invited to a lavish party. It would be the talk of the town, and hopefully, in the best way.
All this to sell them on Lord of the Rings?
On the big day, the reporters began filing into the Olympia Theater, having no idea what to expect from this aloof mega-project. They had no clue what was about to hit them. The lights dimmed, the projector fired up, and the reporters were immediately whisked away to scenes from the Shire.
Yeah! The Shire!
The Council, parts of the ensuing journey, the battle at the tomb, and Gandalf's showdown with the Balrog.
Son of Gloin.
Short pieces of already completed footage from the other 2 movies played after this,
Gandalf really
which
used
included
magic to
clips of
defeat
various
anybody.
important characters, kingdoms, and battles.
Boromir.
This was all topped off with the scene of Frodo at the cracks of Mount Doom, the fate of the world in his hands.
Throw it in
The
the
screen then
fire!
went black, and the dumbstruck reporters erupted into an ovation.
Yeah!
Flags raised, and the press members staggered out of the theater with an electric revelation.
See what happens when you put that stuff in front of real people that love film at the film festival? They got a standing ovation. They got an applause.
There with the world. News of the sensational screening spread around the festival like wildfire. They were eventually summoned to the after-party, and New Line had spared no expense. It was held at a nearby castle, which had been decadently transformed into a little slice of Middle-earth. When entering the party, guests could spot ring wraiths riding up and down the driveway.
Oh my gosh, imagine how cool it was to be
from a
there.
giant hobbit-scaled bar, guests could take pictures with orcs and other denizens of Middle-earth and wander around giant pieces of the set shipped in just for the occasion.
I should have been there.
New Line's crazy plan had worked, and the party had cemented Lord of the Rings as not just the big topic of Cannes, but of news outlets around the world. The party had cost New Line $2 million.
Damn!
The book makes it clear that
Should've
the
hired
challenges
Jamie
of getting Lord of
Foxx.
the Rings made were far from over at that point.
Jamie Foxx would throw you a better party for $100.
But in the end, Jackson showed New Line Cinema and all of New Line's doubters what exactly their gamble had produced. A gamble on an indie filmmaker touting a few low-budget horror flicks and one Oscar nomination, hailing from a tiny country with basically no film industry. And what he showed the world was nothing short of, well...
amazing? Great? Masterpiece? Legendary? Legolas slides down the stairs with the shield right there. Legolas takes on one of the elephants too. Everyone running up. Useful's about to get jacked up by eagles. Balrog get jacked up by Gandalf. Dude. Harvey Weinstein, you're a piece of crap. Trying to ruin one of the greatest stories of history. That's a win! For Frodo!
The Oscar goes to Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyan.
We won like
Peter
11,
Jackson,
12
Lord
Academy
of the-
Awards.
And the Oscar goes to Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. OG. Pete. Let's go.
The
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings.
And the Oscar goes
And of
to-
course,
it's a clean sweep. The Lord of the Rings.
yeah! I told you.
Mary M. Osborne,
Best editing, effects, screenplay, direction, best makeup, best original score, best original song, best sound mixing, best visual effects, best picture, best director, best everything. Damn.
This whole tale is a reminder of how incredibly difficult it is to get a movie like this made, not to mention made well. Yet how did Peter Jackson have the confidence to not only take
You're
on what
wrong,
was at the
Peter,
time the
wherever you
world's
are,
largest film
my
project,
friend.
but also masterfully execute it far beyond anyone's wildest imagination? Sometimes lightning in a bottle just can't make logical sense, but it can make memories. And that's what people all across the world will be thankful for generations.
100%. I just played the freaking Lord of the Rings video games. Great video. Great video. I learned a lot this video. I didn't know none of that stuff. So that was how Lord of the Rings was nearly destroyed in development. And none of us would be able to actually watch such a great masterpiece and enjoy these great movies and great video games. Yeah, great video. Learned a lot. That's it for this one, guys. I'm out of here. Lates.